Well, it seems that Wicked has released photos or leaked photos, and I want to talk about it. Hello, darlings, and welcome to Performance Perspective, where we talk about different performances and then share our perspectives. If you're new here, hi, I'm Cara Darling, and if you're not, I'm still sick, and hopefully soon I'll be back, and then we could stare into each other's eyes and stuff. But anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And before I get into about the photos, I want to say that this episode might be really contradicting to what type of theater goer I am. And I am someone that likes to go see shows without knowing anything, like not really knowing the set, the costumes, the storyline, unless you're able to say it in one sentence. Last episode was about Phantom. So for example, if I'm seeing Phantom of the Opera and it's like, oh yeah, there's this phantom that haunts a young up and coming opera singer. So that's it. You don't give me any more details. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Sounds good to me. Let's go. Like Korn the musical. What's it about? Korn. They did it in one word, and I'm like, okay, cool. And the reason I do this is because I don't want to be influenced by other people saying, it's a good show, it's not a good show, or whatever it is. I want to see how I feel about it. You know, was I there being fully entertained? And listen, there's been times I saw a show and I didn't like it, but there will be a song that I go back to because I'm like, man, I really did like this song though. So with that said, if you are someone that's like, you know what, I'll wait for the trailer of Wicked, or you really don't want to see any of these, like, no worries. Like, I'll see you on the next episode. But for those who feel maybe similar to me in this context, where it's like, I know the musical, I know the show, I don't know if there really is any spoilers. It's just more of like, I'd like to know. And no matter what, I'm going to go see this movie. So, yeah. So let's get into John M. Chu posted these two photos that I saw, which was Glinda on the staircase. And there's really not much to it. You can't really see too much detail. Like, it's like, oh, Glinda has a pink poofy dress. And I mean, I did find Glinda's more, like, whoa, cool, because, seeing the pink in the darkness. But then it was like, wha-bam, what I believe is leaked photos of Munchkinland. And I was thinking, like, I don't really care about that people are showing that. If anything, it looks like a community I'd be very happy to live in. The colors of it's like a saturated cottagecore look, which I'd be down to live in a place like that. And yeah, I just think it's like visually going to be really cool. You see the yellow brick road and it's like, okay, yeah, this is, because that was something that you don't necessarily get to see in the musical. So to see that sort of, to me, I'm like, this is history, like thinking of Wizard of Oz, and it's nostalgic, right? And then, right before Defying Gravity, where she finds a broom and she does her magic on it. Visually, it looks beautiful. And, okay, come on. I feel like I'm beating around the bush of like how I truly feel about this. John M. Chu loves colors. Hence, it's been announced that he will be directing Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which I feel like, yeah, that seems like something he would do. I do, however, feel that movie will be a hit and miss based on Wicked, because no offense about Joseph. I mean, listen, the Donny Osmond video back in the 1990s is, entertaining and pretty good. So to think you're going to create a movie on that, visually it'll probably look beautiful, but then that's about it. And the main thing that I keep saying about John M. Chu is that, or my main concern is that he's going to make things so overproduced that you forget whose story that you're really following. Like, it turns into one big music video. And when thinking about Defying Gravity and the, what was at stake in that moment is, you're following Elphaba's story in her dream only for her to be devastated and crushed at how her dream is completely shattered in front of her, and for her to, make things happen in her life, she would have to be cruel to those poor monkeys. And it is that pivotal moment of, even if she did the right thing and said no and ran off, she's ultimately going to be punished for doing something good. And then she sings about, defying gravity and moving above and forward and blah, 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 right? Even me talking about it, it's really vulnerable. It's really touching. And having the talk between her, why am I tearing up? But the talk between her and Glinda, where it really is almost as if it's a friendship breakup, because which side do you choose? And they chose their side, and that's that. And to think of that being shot like a music video, it's like, no, because it's heartbreaking, really, when you think of the context that's happening. So if this movie doesn't do so well, I don't think people would necessarily care too much about Joseph, or putting anything on Joseph, saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be just as good as Wicked or worse than Wicked. And if anything, yeah, it's going to be worse than Wicked is what I'm saying. There is no world, man, watch me come back to this. There's no world where Joseph ends up being better than Wicked, okay? There's no world for that. So Wicked is the make and break for the movie Joseph. Sorry, back to the photo with Elphaba. The only detail I can get off of this is the fact that her hair will be long. And that was something I was wondering. I was like, man, I wonder what her hair will be like. Like, if they'll keep it short. But who knows? They might do that for when she's, the second half of Wicked and stuff. So now we get into the leaked photo of Glinda. Now, if I had to choose, what scene is this from? I would say this is older Glinda. This is the good news, she's dead. We see that she's on some sort of, I feel like a chariot. It's almost like a parade. Isn't this great? Isn't this? Hey, Glinda, weren't you friends with Elphaba back in the... And then it gets into the story. When looking at the photo on the stairs, I wonder if that's when she goes to see Elphaba before, and they sing For Good, and Elphaba, ends up, going away. And then it turns into good news, she's dead, and it leads to, this scene. I will say this, I actually like that she's wearing pink. I really like that. There was a question I had that when you think of Glinda, what do you think? Do you think of her in pink or blue? And it was fun to read your comments. And I guess the reason why I'm happy to see her in pink is, yeah, it does make me think of Wizard of Oz, and she wore pink. Okay, so I will say this about the dress. Ariana Grande is, very petite. She's very small. So for any petite women wearing a ball gown, it's a little difficult for them to, the dress wears them. But we know Ariana can wear a ball gown based on that one where she was doing those poses and stuff. There is some detail on the bottom where I'm like, okay, that's cool. It gives it a bubble effect. But listen, I've seen this dress. I feel like this is the 2006 prom dress that, a lot of us wanted back in the day. So to see it here, it feels not new. It feels old. And I just don't think it looks that great. Her staff isn't, it just makes me think of Legally Blonde, just an oversized, fluffy pen. But who knows? They might be doing something over the wand, so then, or the magical staff. So then it just seems even more sparkly and prettier and things like that. The tiara is very much, pageant, and maybe that's maybe that is something the costume designer is doing, like trying to make it where it's like, oh, it's like a pageant. Like she really doesn't know, like, how do I say this? Like she's like a pageant queen where it's like everything seems a bit more filtered and you're not able to really say how you feel because you are being judged and scored and things like that in order to be perceived well by everybody. So that could be a take on that. Now, I mean, listen, Ariana has come out with that video talking about people and their concerns, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but ever since then, I can't unsee it. I can't unsee it. And it does make me a little sad. And yeah, I just, in the end of the day, just hope things are going well. Looking at this costume, there are things that I'm like, so for example, I'm gonna sound like a crazy person, but in my head I'm like, give her gloves. Where's her gloves? Like I don't know why I feel like that's important, but I feel like, well, give her a glove, give her like a really cool cape and then it floats, or like have it where her costume doesn't look so heavy, but as the wind blows, it just goes with it. And it's like really pretty and graceful and stuff. But yeah. So ultimately, that's it for today's episode and looking over those photos. I would love to know your thoughts and such. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe. I'm getting so close to 1,000. I'm like, I just want to hit 1,000 before my birthday because listen, I will order a cake for my birthday and for this channel, and I will eat or maybe I'll bake cupcakes because I always talk about like musicals being a cupcake and what that means and things like that. But yeah, anyways, if you like talking about musicals, then yeah, I think you'll like this channel. But without further ado, take care, darling. And I really mean that. Take care of yourself. And yeah, I'm going to go watch some musicals and heal. All right, bye.